So let's not forget the success we've created, because it's very easy when we shift and pivot in a new direction to think we're starting over and act like a newbie, but you're not. You're a seasoned veteran with tons of experience and a big audience who's great at communicating with his audience and making money and teaching other people how to do that. You're not a newbie. Hi, I'm Jason Drees. Welcome to the Do the Impossible podcast. Join me every Monday at 10 a.m. Central for a weekly mindset tune-up. Go to MondayMindsetReset.com to sign up now. Monday Mindset Reset. MondayMindsetReset.com. I'll see you there. Today, I've got a great coaching session for you. This is an amazing guy. His name is David. He's an influencer. He's got a big audience. He does a lot of really cool things. And he has come up to a point with an evolution in his business. And that evolution is, what is the format and structure of a new service that he's going to be expanding into, because he was excited about that. And the question that we really talked about on this coaching session was, he feeling resistance to the decision? Was it actually some form of imposter syndrome, or was it intuition? So pay attention, listen to the session, and see what you can learn from it. David, great to connect with you today.
What's up, Jason? How are you doing?
I'm doing good. What's it been, about a month or two since we chatted?
Yep, probably about a month.
Since I was on your podcast.
Yes. It was good times. Alex is still talking about that. He used the word, I believe, he feels almost hypnotized. However, it's funny because if you recall, we talked through kind of him with like getting into the videographer stuff and really leaning into that. I don't know if you've been following his social media, but he's currently in Maui. He bought a one-way ticket to go work with Brandon on the creative side with Better Life. So yeah, I mean, it worked at least on the trial
awesome
stuff. So
I did see that picture of him paddleboarding this morning.
Yeah, the alignment thing, it's pretty cool to watch him kind of lean into that. So
fantastic, awesome. Yeah. Well, let's get you into alignment. Like, what are you coaching on today? How can I help?
Yeah, so as we were talking right before. I'm at kind of a weird decision point. I was actually just talking to my assistant about this. I've got a call on Monday. So for the first time, I decided to start doing a little bit more high ticket coaching, and I kind of leaned into that. And I got, I'm going to talk about the specific stuff that I do in the real estate space. Is, I'm a hodgepodge buy and hold guy. It doesn't really matter if it's a single family or an apartment or whatever. But what makes what I do unique is that it's a lot of creative financing. So, seller financing, sub to creative partnerships. And I thought, well, this is cool. A lot of people don't understand how to have these very unique conversations that can result in landing deals that a lot of people wouldn't be able to do, and potentially doing it without a whole lot of capital expenditure. I can definitely coach on this and bring a lot of value to the marketplace. And so I thought that would be a cool thing that I would feel comfortable doing at a higher ticket coaching opportunity. Maybe I'll bring in a couple students, brought some people in to help me build that out. And we did a soft launch in my Facebook community. It went well enough that I broke my calendar. It was scheduled out for 60 days, maxed out. I had to... I deleted Facebook Messenger over Christmas because I had so many people asking for the calendar link, and it was broken and I couldn't respond. And I was like, I'm going to lose track of everybody. So I just was like, okay, I'm done. I'll respond when the calendar is fixed. Good problems to have. Yeah. But I'm at a weird spot where, while that's going well, I either need to immediately hire a sales person, team, whatever, or I really just don't enjoy that kind of coaching, almost like obligation type feeling, where it's like, okay, now that people have paid this, I have to deliver on. Because on the other side, I have a mastermind group with 170 people in it, service members and vets. That's a much lower entry point, much higher value to dollar, I think, perception, that is probably the most fulfilling thing I do. And so what I'm kind of been struggling with now, after like a month of this like overwhelming calendar schedule of sales calls and time commitment and building presentations and everything for this, is, do I just go all in on the thing that I feel completely aligned with the mastermind group? And I don't know if I'm out of alignment doing the coaching thing, or if I just haven't fleshed it out and built it out all the way. But I'm like, oh my goodness, what happened to my schedule? What happened to my calendar? This thing has just driven me right off the rails in month one. And it has just completely derailed my entire, what I thought was becoming organized schedule. And, I think it's a good problem to have, but the stress levels that have crept up in the last 2-3 weeks. And I mean, it's becoming unmanageable to keep anything else in the business rolling. So yeah, that's kind of I'm like, oh my goodness.
So you do the podcast.
I do the podcast.
You do the mastermind.
I do the mastermind.
What else do you do? What else is the business, the mastermind, or is it also a real estate business on the side too?
Yeah. So I sold my wholesaling company earlier this year. So I don't do a lot of active investing in the moment. Okay. I do some marketing and negotiations, but it's usually like one-off conversations with sellers. Most of my transactions right now are people bring me, wholesalers bringing me deals or other investors bringing me deals. So it's not super time intensive on that side right now.
Okay. So there's the mastermind, there's the podcast. And recently you're like, hey, high ticket coaching. I have value. I'm unique. I've got a value add. Hey, who wants coaching? Bam. Oh, yeah. Shit, it's too much. I don't know what to do. Do I really want to do this? Like, thank you for sharing your situation. What's your question?
I guess the question is, how do I figure out if it is a version of imposter syndrome, or if I'm genuinely out of alignment by trying to push or lean into the higher ticket realm? Before I sell a bunch of people on a 6-month coaching thing and realize I hate this, and I've just sold a bunch of people on 6 months of this, and I'm going to continue hating it for 6 months. And, while I've got this other thing that I love that I'm pulling attention from.
Yeah. So is it imposter syndrome or what? You were going to say something else.
I guess just out of alignment, just not what I should be focusing my energy on.
Okay. That's a good question, right? Is it, oh my God, imposter syndrome? Am I just being stretched to the next level and not keeping up with who I am now? Or is this my intuition screaming at me, run away?
Yeah.
Right?
Pretty much.
Monty Python, Holy Grail, run away, run away. Like that's the thing, right?
Yeah.
Why did you want to start the coaching business in the first place?
I think a lot of it is just the amount of people who reach out asking for help or mentorship. You're trying to find a way to facilitate that and, pass on that knowledge. And this seemed like a good way to be able to do that. Although the more I think about it, that there's no reason that can't just be continued to be built into the mastermind. I guess as I'm talking out loud, I'm like, man, why don't I just add like an upsell with a little bit of, like, hey, mastermind is this. If you want, I'm also doing this additional coaching piece, course curriculum, whatever, inside of the mastermind that's an extra X. And it wouldn't, I don't know. Yeah, I'm like,
and
that feels lighter. I wonder if that's the simple solution. Just bring it all in together. Because I mean, it's either that or it's immediately build out a sales team. Because the way as I'm thinking through this problem, I'm like, it's more just the time thing, right? Like I want to get back to being able to spend the time being creative and dedicating my energy to the work that actually got the brand out there and produces that free content, that valuable content to the universe, or updates the website, or adds value to the mastermind, or presents ideas to the marketplace. And I feel like I just got sucked into the vortex so fast that today was the first time I sat down and did anything creative in probably weeks. And it's just not been enjoyable. And, it's, well, if you can't enjoy it, why are you doing it?
Yes. And also we are called to grow and expand. You had done an amazing job of building an audience and serving your community, the military community, and making a positive impact. So much that people want more. And you can stay in the small box. I'm good. You can also grow. Now, there is more opportunity than you can manage at this moment. And right now, your frame and your mindset doesn't know how to manage the additional opportunity without you working too many hours, more hours than you want to. Right? Yeah. So building a sales team sounds like building a business and adding on top of that. And that's why I came back to like, well, why did you start this in the first place? Now, you could start it because you have a lot of opportunity. It's right there. So you could be starting it because there's money there. Like this is a profitable upgrade, another revenue channel to the business that just showed up. That's one way. The other thing is I want to start it because I love communicating this one-on-one. I love communicating and helping people, and I'd like to do that. Right?
Yeah.
So, because you're already sharing that expertise one to many in the mastermind.
Yep.
Right. Now, you also don't have to do all the coaching.
That's valid.
You could build out a coaching program and then train coaches on your methodology, and they could deliver that in the sales. So you could build that business and you can add that. You could also just say, okay, well, if I want to do some high ticket coaching, the easiest path forward is to, here's my mastermind. That's what I'm doing right now. And if you want one-to-one, it's this many dollars. And I have one slot at a time, 2 slots at a time. Or if you want to get into my elite mastermind group, mine's called the Inner Circle, where we have a call every week. And then there's 10 people in that, and they're paying a lot more, and you meet with them every week. So there's elevated versions of that.
Yeah, I like that idea for sure.
There's nothing wrong with protecting your time. Nothing wrong at all. In fact, that's one of the key things that puts you into alignment, creating the contact. Now, if we were talking like 5 years ago when I was a Tony Robbins coach, I would have cranked the screws and got you running. Opportunity, go get it, do it. Oh, fuck your time, right? Go make some money. But you're not screaming at me, I'm broke or I have to have more. I haven't heard the word money out of your mouth once. So it's not about money. It's about service and opportunity. And there's also the growth and expansion in it too, right? We know that if you just do the mastermind for the next 10 years, you're going to get bored. So there has to be an evolution of some sort.
Yeah.
And when you start to look at the standard models, mastermind, one-on-one coaching, that's the normal progression because those are the models that people use right now. So do you really want to start a coaching program?
Yeah, I think that's what I really need to try to feel out. And I guess the only real way to do that is to keep doing it until I've run through it.
Well, if success was guaranteed, would you start the coaching program?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I think I just need to. So the guys that I've been working with to help me out and they've been really helpful. Mm-hmm. They were adamant from the beginning that it was important to run my own sales calls, run my own, marketing and my own CRM and everything so that I knew how to do everything from the get-go, which I understand and I grasp. I've done that for the last month. I think my call on Monday with them, I think their intent is to go over my calls and CRM and help me out with everything. And my intent is going to come and be, okay, great. Hey, this is wonderful. Nobody else in your Facebook group has the audience I have or has received the response I have. The only way this works for me is if you help me build this team right now, because I cannot maintain the rest of my business without bringing somebody in right now. I don't enjoy the volume of this part of it. Yeah. So please help me bring that part in now. And we can work side by side, but I need to start getting myself out of that part of it because I'm not enjoying.
Is that a vendor you hired?
Yeah.
Okay.
And they've been solid in every other aspect. And I understand their methodology there for sure.
Would you like my perspective on that?
I would love your perspective on that.
You are not that company's target audience. That model is for solopreneurs who are starting out in the coaching business. That's not you. You don't need a sales audience. You need an email and a checkout form. Because you already have paying members. You have 170 paying members?
Yeah.
Okay. 170 paying members. You sent a message out to those 170 members and I'm guessing on the podcast, you said, "Hey, I'm doing coaching." And how much interest did you have?
I didn't even do that. I made 2 Facebook posts on my group. One that said, "Hey, this is who I am." 2 days later, one that said, "Hey, I'm thinking about doing some coaching. DM me or comment some, I forget what the word was, but comment this word if you're interested." And I had 400 people ish that I was going back and forth with on Facebook Messenger. And I haven't sent it to my email list yet, posted it on my podcast, put it on Instagram, TikTok, or hit up the 170 because I was so overwhelmed that I was like, we're just going to leave it at this for now.
So I don't know who the partner is you're working with, but clearly they don't understand where you're at as a business, and their target audience is people who are just starting out. Like, you're going backwards, and that's why it's not working.
Gotcha.
You literally don't. At this point in the game, you don't need salespeople. You could even say, "Jason, I need coaches and salespeople. Could you white label coaches for me?" Like, there's so much, because your career isn't to learn how to build a coaching program. That's not your path. No way. I would be shocked if you get lit on fire like me and get obsessed with coaching. But learning how to add more value to your audience and deliver more of what you do in different packages, absolutely, that's your path. You're not a beginning entrepreneur. You're seasoned. You're successful. You're like a junior in high school. You're acting like, and that class is teaching you like a freshman.
That actually makes a lot of sense for why that feels so out of alignment. Because I'm like, why am I like, every time I get on one of these sales calls, I'm like, I don't mind talking to these people, but why do I have 5 45-minute calls on my calendar today?
No, stop.
Like,
stop. You don't need to do that. You need to say, "I've got 3 slots for coaching right now. It costs this much. Here's a checkout form." And you first 2 sign. Then, because it's almost like whenever we're developing new products and services, we always want to validate it before we put all this work into it. And to validate it, "Hey, audience, do you want to buy this?" Yes. Okay, let's buy it and let's deliver it and see how it works. And after a few months, because this was going in a higher direction, so your intuition was screaming at you. Now, if success was guaranteed and you could build that, that's great, but you're not going to figure out coaching, and you don't have the bandwidth, because you're going to lose your magic and you're going to turn into who I was in the past year and a half. Like, don't do that. That out of alignment, crazy grinding. You were in flow. This new direction is pushing you out flow.
Awesome.
So this is your group right here. What you're doing is you're creating an elite level.
Yep.
Like, mine's called the inner circle. You can call it whatever you want to call it.
Whatever you want to call it. Yeah.
4-star level, like you can call it whatever you want. So let's not forget the success we've created, and because it's very easy when we shift and pivot in a new direction to think we're starting over and act like a newbie, but you're not. You're a seasoned veteran with tons of experience and a big audience who's great at communicating with his audience and making money and teaching other people how to do that. You're not a newbie.
Just forgot how to. Oh man, that's funny.
We're talking today.
Yeah, man. I guess. It's kind of funny to think how much time I've put into this, and because I was like, oh, I'm gonna follow their program to the T to make sure I'm doing this right. Now I'm thinking like, ooh, I mean, a lot of what they did was great. As far as like it, got a good response. I learned some stuff about Facebook marketing, but I also could have done all of it with somebody else on the team doing all of it. So yeah. Oh yeah, that's funny. Okay, well, that makes me feel a lot better though, because that confirms, which was essentially what I was going to figure out on the call on Monday, was like, either I am going to shut this down or I'm going to build a team to do it, so that the only piece I'm doing is the actual coaching. And even then, I have a call prior to that with a buddy of mine who used to coach for, I won't name him, but another pretty well-known real estate investor who at one point was on HGTV. So, whatever, who wants to help me build this out? And so I was like, oh, cool. I can bring this guy in to help me coach. And then if these guys will help me with what they look for in, a sales rep or somebody to run the CRM side of things and how that works, then I can get myself out of the time piece on the marketing side and get myself out of some of the coaching requirement and still be able to be the brainchild behind the content and a lot of the coaching and the Q&A. And that would feel much more in alignment than right now, because I think where I shine primarily is the networking and the creative side. But man, I feel better now.
So what are you going to do next week?
I'm going to flesh all that out on Monday through conversations with both the other coach and the people that I've been working with. And then I'm going to rock and roll. Are you
going to keep working with those people?
I think that's part of the conversation on Monday, because I believe I'm at the end of the 90 days. And so I think there's probably another piece of money involved if I were to want to keep working with them. So probably just go my own way and say, thanks for everything I've learned.
My perspective on that is they were not understanding who you are and the level you're at. They're trying to fit you in their box. And so it's clear they have not worked with clients at your level before. So you're going to continue to feel resistance. If you get stuck like that, you can reach out and give me a call. I'll talk to you and help you out.
Well, I appreciate that.
Awesome. Does that help?
That absolutely helps.
So are you open to doing a repeat after me to lock this in a little bit more?
Yes.
Okay. So repeat after me. I take full ownership of my life and everything in it.
I take full ownership of my life and everything in it.
I understand the truth.
I understand the truth.
I am a successful entrepreneur.
I am a successful entrepreneur.
I have an amazing audience.
I have an amazing audience.
I love what I do.
I love what I do.
And when I research,
and when I research
or investigate
a
new program or service,
I
don't have to start over. I'm not a newbie. So I always remember that anytime my business pivots, it's in addition to what I was doing before. And as long as I follow my excitement, I'll always be on the right path. I believe that 100%. How's that feel?
It feels good.
Nice.
That's, man. And it ties into, what I've been, be true to yourself, right? I tell people all the time Brian Lubin, right? He talks about the passionate income. And I talk about, how fulfillment is more important than, and it's different stages of life for everyone, right? I think everybody kind of gets to that point where they realize I have enough. So at this point, like you kind of alluded to, I wasn't screaming about the money being the most important thing, because I'm not going to die if I don't make another dollar. But so that's not what matters. What matters is that I still have time to be with my family, and I still have time to, I'm enjoying what I do.
That is one of the biggest accelerators you can have when you are in alignment with yourself, because a lot of times entrepreneurs can be in the pattern of self-sacrifice for success, and self-sacrifice actually slows down the process because it's resistance.
Makes sense.
Awesome.
Yeah, I feel way better.
Yay. You good?
Yeah, I'm great.
All right, David,
Thank
I
you.
will talk to you soon. It was great to connect today.
Thanks, brother. You too.
Are you starting to understand how much a little focus and clarity and outside perspective helps you? That's why coaching is so powerful. Once you start coaching, you'll never stop. I've been in coaching for over 10 years. If you want an experience of coaching, go to freeintrosession.com to book in your own complimentary session where my team will walk you through a do the impossible goal setting session to make sure you're aimed at the right target. Until next week, when we continue this evolution in the discovery of greatness and the expansion of the human spirit, I'm Jason Drees. I will talk to you then. Take care. Bye-bye.